This channel right here has the best viewers. It's a community that loves boots as much as I do. So when I kept on seeing comments from subscribers telling me that I needed to get a pair of Nicks, eventually the chorus became overwhelming. So in October 2021, I bought a pair of Nicks Americana boots. In February 2022, I actually got that. Since then, I've been putting in a few hours each week into breaking these boots in. No easy feat. How do you like that pun? Now that they're mostly broken in, seriously, it takes a lot longer than you think, I've come to a conclusion on whether or not I'm actually happy with this purchase. So let's get into it. Nicks Handmade Boots is one of a few legendary Pacific Northwest boot makers. Other mainstays are White's, Wesco, and also Viberg, which is a Canadian brand, but still in the same region. I've also had a chance to check out White's and Wesco, so I'll be doing a little bit of comparison between Nicks and those brands, as well as how my Americanas compare to other brands like the Red Wing Iron Ranger. Nicks has a process for custom fitting made-to-order boots. I didn't go through that process because my feet are pretty basic, but from what I've read and what I've heard from subscribers, the fitting process is quite simple, and Nicks does a great job making the process straightforward and easy to do. This brand right here, Nicks, they are at the high end of boot making. Yes, there are even more expensive boots out there, but if you're looking for maximum quality combined with durability, then Nicks is your brand. You could spend more on a pair of YSL Chelsea boots if you wanted to, but there's no way you're gonna get more or better materials or construction in that boot. Plus, I can't imagine if you're watching this right now, you're flipping back and forth like wondering, oh, should I get a pair of Nicks Americana or should I get the Yves Saint Laurent Chelsea boot? Like that would be pretty funny. Let's talk about the style. So the Nicks Americana is the first boot I got from the Pacific Northwest School of Bootmaking, which basically means that I had no idea that a boot could be this robust. For a casual boot, the Americana, it's an absolute tank. Heck, even compared to most work boots or any work boot I've tried, the Americana, it's a tank. It's a cap-toe service boot, and I picked mine up in the Horween waxed flesh leather. This is brown leather, but at first glance, and still it kind of looks basically like it's black, but as the wax starts to wear away, more of that brown rough out, it's gonna show through. The toe box on the Americana is pretty stubby. It's easier to show you compared to other popular cap toe boots. As you can see, the Nicks Americana has the widest toe box of the four boots pictured here. What you can't see is that the Red Wing Iron Ranger, it actually has the most height compared to because of that bump toe last. Still, the Iron Ranger, it's more narrow at the waist of the boot. The other two boots, the Truman 79 last and the Thursday Captain, those are both much more narrow all the way throughout. The style is much more vintage looking. Like it definitely feels like it's from the 40s or 50s because just how wide and stubby the boot is. I think it's a really interesting look, and I don't know another brand that does anything like it. Personally, it's not my favorite style. I like the slightly slimmer look of the Red Wing Iron Ranger or the Truman 79 last boot. But I also have to say that I love how beefy the Nicks Americana looks too. It's super unique, and part of its charm is that anyone can instantly recognize that this boot is not built like any other boot. You can get a pair of Nicks in all sorts of different leathers. They seem to mostly get their leather from Horween. There's several chrome excel options, as well as some rough out and some waxed rough out choices as well, like this one. I know for an additional cost, they offer a few Wicked and Craig leathers. I don't know if they're gonna be offering those forever, so just double check. And I think this is definitely where knowing your leather comes in handy when you're shopping for a pair of Nicks. I opted for the brown waxed flesh leather, which is a 6.5 ounce Horween waxed rough out. It's quite stiff out of the box, and it's still honestly quite stiff now, but the more I wear it, it's getting softer and softer. I've been going at it for like a few months and it's still not fully broken in. While I haven't worn away much, if any, of the wax on the upper of these boots, you can kind of get a glimpse of how it's gonna age on the false tongue, and I'll give you a close-up of that right now. I'm really excited to continue to break in the boots so that the rough out texture starts to break through that wax. As far as conditioning these goes, I'm taking a hands-off approach with these boots. I might condition the leather a few years down the road if they start to look a little dry, and even then, I'll use something light like Bic 4. The Americana usually comes with the Vibram 430 mini lug sole, but since I ordered mine custom, I picked out the Vibram V-Bar sole, or the Tigum 700. It's mostly called a V-Bar though. This wasn't so much a purposeful move away from the Vibram 430. I've just tried that out a few different times on different boots, and I was curious to know what the V-Bar was like. If you're wondering what the big difference is, the V-Bar sole has a little less traction and it's stiffer, but because it's harder, it's also more durable. So if you're like me and you kind of scrape your feet across the ground somewhat often, then you'll get a little more out of the V-Bar, a little more lifetime. The 430 lug, like this is the Red Wing Iron Ranger here, so the 430 lug, it's a good choice because it's softer and has decent grip while still maintaining that low profile. Again, I don't feel like there's that much of a difference. I just wanted to try the V-Bar out so I could learn the pros and the cons of this sole firsthand. But that's just the outsole. The insole and the midsole is really what separates a pair of Nicks boots from other brands. Besides the rubber insole and the brass on the eyelets, this boot is entirely leather. The midsole and insole are made up of thick pieces of oak tan leather, which is known for its durability and its ability to offer support. The shank is also oak tan leather. You might be thinking, leather shank? I thought steel was the best. While steel shanks offer a lot of support, the reason that Nicks uses a leather shank is because they actually expect you to be wearing these boots for several years. Because the leather shank will slowly compress and break in with the rest of the insole and midsole, it'll continue to give the boot and your foot support throughout the leather shank's lifetime. A steel shank, it might not flex at all, so when the leather breaks in around it, it might stick out and kind of bother your foot a little bit more and more. So that whole process, that would definitely take several years to play out. So not a lot of people know about it or even think of it, but Nicks has. Also, Nicks adds a wedge of leather at the arch of your foot that's specifically there for arch support. The only boots that compares with Nicks on arch support is my White's Packer boot. At first, I even wondered, like, did these even fit right? You know, for the Nicks, this too. I've never had that much arch support, so I actually wondered, like, did I even get the right fit? But as I kept walking around in them and breaking in the wedge of the leather, I've come to love it. One of the beautiful things about ordering Nicks is that you can get a completely customized fit when you go through their fitting process. Now, you might have different sized feet or irregularly sized feet, and you can find it difficult to get a pair of boots that's comfortable on both sides. Nicks can solve this issue with custom ordering, but this is an important note. If you choose to go with a customized size, it not only costs $100 extra, but it can add another 12 weeks onto the ordering process, which can put it more into like the 9 to 12 month range. Because I'm a straight up 10D in boots and my feet are pretty standard, I was able to order the Nicks 10D and they fit very well. So I wear the same thing, Red Wings, Wolverine, Grand Stone, any of those boots I wear a 10D. If you're looking at a pair of Nicks boots, I'm assuming you've already devoted hours of your life to figuring out the exact right size of your boot. With the wider toe box, guys with slightly wide feet, but not wide enough to bump up to the E-width, they're gonna get some relief for sure. This is also true if your toes tend to spread out and they're wider than the rest of your foot. The break-in period on the Nicks Americana is the most difficult I've ever gone through. A few years ago, I made a video reviewing the Red Wing Iron Ranger, and I talked about how tough the break-in there was. It's funny, I look back at that and I shake my head. Breaking in the Red Wing Iron Ranger was a piece of cake. You just walk in it for 3 days and it's smooth sailing from there on out. The Nicks Americana, on the other hand, has like stages of breaking in, and it was just painful in the first 3 or 4 times that I wore it out, just like straight up painful. Now obviously I played through the pain to get to the stage where I can wear them for multiple hours and then maybe even a few miles of walking without needing to take a break, but I'm kind of still there. You can check out the video popping up on me breaking in my pair of Nicks, this exact pair of boots, what I did, 10 different tips I did to actually break these in, if that's something you're worried about. After reading so many comments from you guys urging me to check out Nicks Handmade Boots, I am glad I listened. The Nicks Americana is one of my favorite boots. With the 6.5 ounce waxed rough out leather, 5 to 6 layers of oak tan leather as the midsole and insole, and a fat 3/4 inch top lift on the heel, I can't imagine these boots are ever gonna wear out. It's been about 6 months since I started wearing them, and they're still not even fully broken in. I feel like I haven't even gotten into where the benefits of getting a boot this tough where it's really started to show. While I initially had some sticker shock at the price, like $500 to $600, that's definitely not cheap. To me, it makes total sense. The quality of the materials and the craftsmanship here is gonna take these boots much farther than others. I'm pretty confident in saying that a Nicks Americana could outlast a Red Wing Iron Ranger 2 times over if it was subjected to the same conditions. In my opinion, Nicks is deserving of their cult status in the boot world. I think the Americana is an excellent example of their work, and I'm super pumped on this boot. If you found this review helpful, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. You can also check out some of my other reviews popping up right now. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, put your best boot forward.